In Sonoma County, a train filled with hazardous materials sits abandoned on the tracks. Right now, there's a fight over just who's responsible for moving it. But as KPIX5's John Ramos explains, that fight could very well end up in court.
On Tuesday, federal and state regulators did safety inspections on about 80 rail tankers sitting near the Sonoma County town of Shellville. But the fact the cars are here at all has locals pretty fired up.
Take the rails out of here so they can never bring that stuff back in here.
The tankers contain liquefied petroleum gas, an additive used to create California's winter blend of gasoline. And they were put here by a tiny local freight hauler called Northwestern Pacific. The operators of the SMART commuter line actually own the rails, and they say they were not notified when the cars began being stored here about 3 weeks ago.
And until we know exactly how they plan to transport this, they are not permitted to use our track.
But hold on, says Mitch Stogner, executive director of the North Coast Railroad Authority. It oversees the movement of freight on the rail lines, and Stogner says SMART may own the rails, but they have no authority over these tankers.
The freight operator has an exclusive freight easement, which is a legal right to move freight trains that cannot be interfered with by anyone.
But haulers of petroleum are coming under attack everywhere after the horrific derailment and fire that took nearly 36 lives in Canada 3 years ago. That may have people spooked, but the freight haulers say storing petroleum on rails is actually a common practice throughout the Bay Area.
You can see them everywhere. Going to the Oakland Coliseum, just look around. There's hundreds of them.
He's right. We found similar looking tankers just off 880 in Oakland and still others in Richmond, although there is no indication what or how much they may contain. SMART says the Shellville tankers are a threat to the public, but the Freight Authority thinks SMART is just trying to eliminate freight from its tracks entirely. It's a turf battle that will likely end up off the rails and into a courtroom. In Sonoma County, John Ramos, KPIX 5.